Well, good morning. I want to welcome you all this morning to our cooperators meeting. For those of you I have not met yet, my name is Ben Fisk. My partner Don Howard and I are the liaisons for the team. Brandon Eager is also here helping us, and we appreciate that. To start things off with this morning, I want to make sure you all know who our immediate team members are. We're not going to go through all the introductions again just for sake of time. But I do have a sign-in sheet. I need only those of you that have not been here before or who have not signed in. We just need your information. I promise I'm not taking attendance with this, so if you're already on our sign-in sheet, that'll work. So let me at least start it here. Again, only those that have not signed in before, please sign in. Again, thank you all. Again, this is a very important meeting. As I mentioned on day one, we will do this meeting as long as there's a value to all of you. So that's a promise from us to keep you informed. So to start things off with, we'll get right to operations and give you a rundown of where we're at. Good morning, Dave Gesser, operations trainee. So again, for those that weren't here yesterday, this is an IR flight, which is infrared from last night. So acre-wise, we're sitting at 13,253 acres. So from yesterday's meeting to today's, just over 200 acres is what the growth was. So the growth that we did have on the fire was down on the south end here. Had a little bit of what we call flanking fire, which means it was moving side slope. And it ran over to Lost Lake, and then it held up there at Lost Lake. The other growth that we had on the fire was out here on the eastern end, and it was a backing fire that was backing down there. So the concerns we know is the watershed and the structures that are out there. So we got firefighters in there assessing the structures. They're continuing with the mop-up operations around the structures. They are today looking at going direct down here in Division Alpha and Zulu. They did get some contingency lines put in here, which is if the winds continued with us, that we may have to fall back. But today, winds are predicted 10 to 15 mile an hour less than what we had yesterday. So the crews are looking at going direct here and trying to start picking this fire up and taking it direct towards the rim edge there. In Division Zulu and Foxtrot, they were able to get in here and go direct on this. They have just a small piece that they still have to tie in, but pretty much what they have in here is holding. They're going to improve it today, and things are looking really good in here. And Tango and Victor, they got in here, they got dozers in here yesterday, so they are working to get a dozer line put in. They have some stuff identified here with dozer line, and they started getting some dozer line in here. We had crews in there last night and started mopping up this little figure you see that's coming out. So they are working on this, and they're going to continue that today, and hopefully be able to make some progress to get around that today. And again, as I said, we know the structures and the watershed are very important to you guys and to us. So they're assessing that, getting in there, doing what they can with everything, and when conditions allow, then we'll get those notifications out to be able to get some folks in to check the livestock out in there. Any questions? Yeah.
Have there anything homes destroyed? Have you got credibility on that, or any livestock that have been killed?
I have not heard on any livestock at all. The reports are still the same as what we had on the structures, which were 2 structures that I was aware of so far. I don't know if there's any more yet. We're waiting for that assessment to come in. And not sure if they were just, outbuildings or not. So we'll get that information to you as soon as we get it. Yes.
Is there a telephone number that people can call if they see wildlife that are like a strand
Do we, Kevin, is there a demo?
Actually, the bears in Tallahassee, we sent 2 personnel there today to address it, the cub, on the compound.
Is there a general number for reporting?
928-871-6451. That's the Fish and Wildlife, for wildlife only though.
And the one other thing I will let you know, the crews did a really good job here yesterday. They were able to secure this, so you know we will get some containment on the map today. So we are looking at, we are considering 5% containment at this point.
Just to let you know, we work closely with grazing permit fees out there. So, you know, we're on standby if you guys need help with hauling out livestock to the area. So we coordinate with the park livestock.
Okay, yeah, when we feel that it's safe to do so, we'll let the liaisons know, and then they'll contact Rose, and she'll get in contact with everyone there.
I think at Washington Pass, there was 6 long gooseneck trailers that were stationed there with park rangers. And we were up there close to the fire taking people out and evacuating them in the smoke areas yesterday afternoon. Sorry, CHR program.
Thank you.
What about aircraft aviation?
Okay. As far as aviation goes, today they were able to get up at, I believe it was 8 o'clock, so they're up over the fire at this time. The helicopters are working in here with Charlie and in the Zulu area at this time, so that they can get in here and go direct on this. So with the winds predicted a lot less, we should be able to fly that aircraft a lot longer today. We're hoping that we can get them flying all day today in there.
Good morning, Dwayne Chapman, Safety Officer Training. Working with operations here with the engines and crews and dozers and aircraft, making sure that all the resources on the fire are being safe out there with the plan they're having throughout the day. I mean, they're getting there and try to go direct. But right now, just making sure the resources are safe. Working this fire. Any questions? That's about it.
I have a question. We discussed this morning at the site.
All right.
Are we meaning the federal and administration, are we anticipating to have more heavy machinery that will go to, let's say, another bulldozer or backhoe to be parked at like Crystal? That was one of the questions that we went through. So in that case, that we already designated the area.
All right, hold on, the ops is coming here.
What was the question? Yeah, we do have 2 more dozers that are coming in to go in there and help, so that'll give us a total of 6 dozers out there working, and they should be in today. We also had 3 more Type 2 IA crews coming in today.
Okay, just for your information, we've designated a location there on Grand Crystal, where if need be, you want to temporarily store it, then it can be moved up the site.
Okay. I know they're storing a lot of them out there at their drop point locations, and then the transports are staging at the spike camps that we have established currently. And also, I was informed, just so you guys know, they did order in the VLAT, which is a very large air tanker, so they will be flying some retardant ones this morning. Any other questions?
Okay, I'd like to invite Rose White here to come up and give a couple of comments.
Yeah, it's Bennett. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for showing up and being here and being a part of this. I was asked to go ahead and just provide some comments and updates from the Navajo Nation side. Yesterday, one of the big things that we did was we were able to arrange a flyover, and that was with all of your help and with the National Guard, Governor Martinez, and also with President Shelley and Vice President Rexy Jim. So we were able to actually fly over these sites. And one of the things that Governor Martinez has mentioned, and I want to echo that, is that the majority of the fire itself is hot spots, if I can use that correctly, if I can use that term correctly. There's just bits and pieces here and there. So when we flew over it, I was expecting to see something like what you normally see in other fires, where the whole hillside is just completely wiped out and all the trees are gone, but it's not like that. It's here, there's just bits and pieces of red embers burning here and there all over the place. So even though you see the smoke makes it look worse than what it actually is. So I want to echo that, and it's not as devastating as what I had been picturing in my mind until I had seen it, and so I want to share that with you. So that was one of the things that I wanted to just make sure that I echoed that statement from Governor Martinez's office. The other thing that I wanted to echo again was we've shared our information on donations management with and our listing with the PIOs of the Incident Management 3 team. So again, continue to keep working with the PIOs of the team. Make sure you continue to use the Assayii Lake Fire Facebook page. That's the only place that we want to make sure that we get the most accurate information to. I'm doing everything I can to keep everybody updated. However, at the same time, I also want to continue to make sure that you are on their PIO listing as well. And that's the reason why they want to make sure that they have your contact information on that sign-in sheet. So if you want to make sure that you get the most updated information, please sign in on that sign-in sheet. The other thing I want to remind everybody too is make sure that you at least give us a post of what's happening here in this incident command post. We had to move from the other side because it's just getting too big. These guys they're needing more space, and not only that, but we need to be able to have a little bit of space where we can hear each other as well too. So that's the reason why we're here. The other thing that we're making sure that we're sharing with everyone is just the press releases that are coming out of here, and also again the information that we're sharing through donations management. Red Cross is assisting us with that, and then also at the same time, we also have volunteers coming in from the different chapters that are also assisting, so I want to thank our local chapters as well. Law enforcement, I also want to thank them as well, but again, we still need to make sure that we work directly with Will. So we need to make sure that we work directly with Will, because we have to keep accountability. Same thing with, I did get some information back from EMS, and I want to thank you guys for being out there and being with our teams. So what we did is when we flew over the mountain, we landed at Newcomb School. And I really want to commend Newcomb School. I don't know if anybody's here from the area, but that is that is a stellar shelter setup. It's amazing. I was blown away. So if you guys want to see really good evacuation shelter, that's the way to do it. They have everything down to a T. So what I'm going to do is the documentation that they're handing out at that shelter, I want to make sure that I share that with the other shelters as a fine example of what they should have within their releases and within the information that they provide to the public. From there, we went to Noshchiti, and Noshchiti community, they were very happy to hear that we were there to be able to spend some time with them. At the same time, I did spend some time talking with the people, boots on the ground, and the people that were affected by the fire. And of course, it's heartbreaking because it's, that's our home. This is our land, and it is hard. But I want to thank everybody for all your hard work, and you guys are doing a great job. And it is tough to be able to listen to just what everybody's going through. But they really appreciate all the hard work that all of you are doing, CHRs, law enforcement, EMS, wildland firefighters, Navajo Nation Fire and Rescue, all of you guys, forestry, Department of Ag, they really, really do thank you. And so that's what I got back from all of the community members. So please give yourselves a pat on the back. I know it's a thankless job, but really, I want to say thank you on their behalf because they were so happy to see us, and I want to share that with you. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, Rose. Rose has been wonderful to work with. You have great representation there. Next, I'd like to bring up our incident commander, B-Day.
Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for attending. I think these meetings are beneficial not only for information sharing to you, but certainly back to us with that. So a couple things I want to echo. Structures. We understand that there's still some questions out there as far as what structures have been affected on that. We understand the need for that information. I think today will be a good opportunity for the operations to really get a good assessment of that. So we hope to have some hard information back to you, hopefully by the end of the day, as far as the status of those structures. I also want to mention that with the operations going on out there, they've done a great job of really identifying where they can make a stand on this fire. And I think today, the winds are still high, but I think they're not as high as they have been for the last couple of days. So I really think that we can be able to put some black. Now, when you see black line on here, that means we've got it contained. We feel comfortable that fire is going to stop spreading. Right now, all you see is red. So look for the black line because we should start putting some more black line on here. Okay, so the color of this really indicates the status of that fire. So if you have any questions of why we picked red, obviously it's uncontained. We don't have any sort of line around it. And when we feel that we've got a really good handle on it, we'll start putting some black line on it. So keep an eye on that map. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get some containment on it. And again, that's just for the great work that's been done out here. And to support the operation, I want to really say the chapter houses have been really incredible and really have given us the assistance to be able to be successful out there. So again, we are very appreciative of what you guys have done for us. And also with the cooperation, because it was after our meeting yesterday, evacuations. That word came up again yesterday. And it came up, I believe, into several areas, but Crystal. So that was something that was not generated from this team. But we were able to get a handle on that, and that was just working with Rose to get that back out. So you still may hear of evacuations, but I want to emphasize that if it's not generated from our team, I wouldn't say it's not valid, don't get me wrong, but if it's not generated from our team, we're not supporting that action. Okay? So we will be very specific, working hand in hand with Rose to make sure if it is an evacuation that we get the proper information out to the police so that they can conduct the evacuations. You know, the older I get, my mind starts to go, and I think I have another point here, so maybe it might come up a little bit later. But any questions to this time? Yeah.
Some of the community last night mentioned that they lost some of their pets, their conservation displays. Is there location sites for them? If anybody finds pets that are displaced out there, say if they wanted to.
Rose, you want to come back up?
Yes, we do have some sites that we're going to go ahead and share with our PIOs. That is going to be through the Department of Ag. Can I have somebody raise their hand that's from here? Okay, great. And the Department of Ag is going to give me a contact information. They do have some pens. Fort Defiance chapter. Anybody here from Fort Porcupine chapter. Okay, they also opened up their facility, and they said that they have pens. And there was another name that was given to me last night, and I just can't remember. I wrote it down. I have that. And then also Gloria Tom with Fish and Wildlife, that also, yes, that has a space available in a pen. Yes. So those are some places that we have set up. We also have NAFI. I want to thank NAFI as well. They're bringing in feed and hay, and then we also have some donations that are coming in as well to feed and hay for the animals that are coming here. And we're going to be coordinating those efforts again, working with our PIOs to make sure that we have the most updated contact information for everyone.
Is Red Cross still going to provide those kennels that they were talking about yesterday at North City Chapter?
I'm sorry, what did
The kennels? The pet kennels? They were asking how many they needed, but I don't know if Melvin Stevens talked about that.
Go on, Michael. We're going to put Red Cross on the spot here. Is that okay? Okay. So Red Cross, we have a question in reference to some kennels.
So we're not handling pet shelters directly. We're not handling any pet shelters directly, but as that need arises, we're trying to provide advisements because it is a need that's happening. And I think from our discussions yesterday that the arson facilities in Fort Defiance that are taking those on, and we are having offers of donations to feed and things like that. So we're just trying to connect all of those resources. Who asked that question? I'm not really sure who to look at. Okay. And so we're making sure that those connections get made. We're working with Rose's staff to take that information and then put those pieces together. So that's kind of where that stands currently.
Great. Gloria, can you come up, please? You want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. I'm Gloria Tom. I'm the director for the Fish and Wildlife Department. Totachi'ini is my clan, Borkotachi'ini. In regards to the displaced pets, we have made the Fort Defiance Animal Shelter available. That's just right down the road here from Navajo Forestry Department. Also, with the livestock issues, we do have the Department of Agriculture involved in our planning team over here. What I would like to suggest or recommend is that all of these requests for displaced pet assistance and livestock assistance be funneled through our operations center here. We can't just go and start going in and start looking for animals. We have to clear that with the security group on the other side. Because there are still some risk out there. We don't want to send anybody out there and have them get into a difficult situation. So please inform your chapters or your contacts that we're taking those requests over here. And we are working on a phone line, but you're free to call me. My cell number is 928-401-1606. Thank you.
928, repeat that again, 928.
928-401-1606. Yes, sir.
I was up in Nazi City yesterday. I heard people talking that they got the livestock because of evacuation. 3 or 4 days now, they're not fed or water. So we're concerned about that.
Okay, the comment is that at Noshchitty chapter, there's people saying that they left their livestock penned up on the mountain, and they haven't been fed or watered in 4 days. We probably should talk to you after the meeting if you want to come back here and communicate with our agriculture staff. Oh, that's Crystal? Oh, I'm sorry, Noshchitty. But yeah, just come back and communicate with our agriculture staff out there.
Is this an ag question? Okay.
Question for you, Rose. Tom White, Apache County. You know, we got some law enforcement officers out there. And also have some of my crew that are watering down the areas in Fort Defiance as well as Crystal Chapter. Now, Crystal Chapter is calling me asking for some trash bins. Is there a number that guys can assign us, because, you know, for accountability, for record keeping and all that, I do need a number. That way we can, you know, charge our expense too.
Yes, and that's the reason why I need you to work with me so that we can go ahead and get that number for you and start working on all the contracts. And that's what I'm working with Ben and Don Howard. That's the reason why everything has to be funneled, because if I don't get those numbers, he's talking about the resource order numbers, and your programs will not get reimbursed if you do not work through us, because we have a whole finance team back there assisting us in documentation unit that's helping us with setting up those resource and tracking and billing information. Okay? All right, great. We'll meet in the back of it. So before I take any more questions, in the back, can I have everybody stand that's assisting there in the incident command post, so that, or wave or say hi, good morning. Great. So that's the team that we have back there. And again, I just want to thank each and every one of them. Mainly from Fish and Wildlife, mainly from Records, Finance, gosh, I don't know who else is all back there, so I'm trying to look. Okay. Yes, sir?
Rose, yesterday I went to visit some of the chapters on the east side here, and the same people that you met and talked to were disturbed. Is there any counselors out there to assist them?
Yes, there is. There are counselors. The question was, are counselors available to the people that are going through this emotional and devastating time in their lives? Yes, there are counselors available. We're working with Dave's staff at DVHS, and then we also have some other personnel that have come out from EMS, IHS, PHM. But again, I want to make sure that we bring together everybody's outreach that they're doing so that we can keep track of that. Just because of the fact that, again, the resource order number, and then also we want to make sure that we're providing, that we're not leaving anybody out. So again, we can make sure that all of you guys are providing some type of resource, especially when it comes to behavioral health or counseling. That'd be also good to make sure that Dave's team knows about that as well. So Dave, can you raise your hand so everybody knows who you are? Okay, Mrs. Dave knows if you don't know.
Just on top of that, there's some workers, employees that have homes up there, families. I guess they're pretty much affected emotionally too. Tribal workers, I'm sure some kinds of agency workers. What about that? What about those people?
Dave, can I have you address that, please?
Yeah, good morning. We're working on 3 objectives this morning. The first one is what you have asked, is that we have a number of people that are coming in from behavioral health for briefing, and then we're going to be making those assignments. The concern is what DEM described about the emotion of people losing their grazing areas, because if it's completely charred, they talk, I mean, they have that intimate relation with the land as birth side, you know, their area, their lifetime. Look at that, you know, that's where the main, the emotion and the impact is. So we're bringing in some behavioral health, and they're going to be here this morning. We're going to be doing briefings on the objectives, the assignments, and they'll be visiting these locations today. That's one. Number 2 is public health, healthcare from IHS 638. We're also assisting with medication refills and any needs related to health. So our nurses are on site. We have public health personnel on site as well to help you establish that, connect with information from here to the hospital sites, to the pharmacy, and we're going to see if we can make deliveries as well. That's the second one. And the third one is really the food, the public health food safety at these locations where they are running food services. So we do have that joint teams as well. Those assignments have already been established, and so we're going to a briefing this morning.
I'd also like to make sure that I give some time to the Division Director of Land or Program Director of Land Management.
Hey Ben, good morning everyone. Just a couple comments real quickly. for all the Navajo Nation department, staff, if you're involved in any way, you need to contact Gloria so they can start a profile set up for you, time, expenses, all of that. We need to have that, okay? Very important. And so, and any activities we want to know. Also, we want contacts for all the public safety, all the different divisions. Who is your contact person in the event? We need to reach out to you, and so we need to be able to have that information as well. Then we can brief them on what we need. Those that have resources that would like to obligate to some assistance, we need to know what those resources are, so if we need it, we know who to call. I heard someone say, we got dozers ready to go. If we know that, we can over here, we can communicate with this group over here. If they say, we need this, now we know who to go to, one call, and we'll be able to assist in a more orderly fashion. So appreciate it, and thank you for all your help, and thank you as well.
Okay, any more questions for the Navajo Nation?
Really quickly, some of the things that people have discussed, you know, it's not just affecting physical, but, you know, emotionally, stuff like that. One of the things that I really think about, my name is Walter Gay. I am from Crystal, and I'm playing two roles, but this is really a personal question. And I don't know if this is the context to ask. This has affected several communities, thousands of people, and stuff like this, Division of Natural Resources. This fire is something that started within a Navajo Nation managed area. The Navajo Nation Parks and Rec Center. Is that being investigated? When is it going to be investigated? There's responsibility. People talk about finance, reimbursements and stuff. And, you know, and people will ask us, especially if people about who started, how we started, who did we address? You know, we just said, well, it's under investigation. But it didn't affect a lot of us. Is it being investigated? Who started it? Is it the Navajo Nation? Is it the Division of Natural Resources? That's the division that managed. We saw a fire restriction order come out on June 12th. These are things. Parks and Rec, Fish and Wildlife, you know, those, they don't need a fire restriction. They manage it. So why wasn't there an executive, a department manager saying no fire at a site at their Parks and Rec? You know, you know, it's really disheartening. And there's some that, you know, Division of Natural Resources didn't get addressed, and the president.
Sir, I can assure you, speaking on behalf of Team 3, that this fire is being investigated. I can't give any specifics at this point in time. The point of origin is being looked at, and it is being investigated like all fires that we're involved with. So I can tell you from our perspective, it is being investigated, and that information will come public as soon as the investigation is.
And then I also have the Chief of Staff is coming up to address that issue.
Morning. Once again, thank you from the Navajo Nation President and Vice President. Back to the question. A lot of times, any time that there's something that happens, it's usually common nature. We try to get that answer. A lot of times when an incident happens, you learn from those incidents. I think this is probably one of the bigger fires that we have within Navajo Nation. We had small fires here and there that was taken care of by BIA and Navajo Nation personnel. So back to the question. Every year we have this fire restriction that comes up. Although every year we know that we're in this drought situation. Although we go to chat meetings, we get on air, the whole say the Hazin, there's been messages out there. Back to the fire restriction. The day before this incident happened, a fire restriction came into play. There was a fire restriction that was issued. The forestry department, I don't know if anybody's here from forestry. Forestry department, you know, they have some sort of a gauge that say that, you know, you're in this zone. So during that time, that week, the week before the fire, you know, that document was put together. So the President signed the document on June the 12th, and then the fire started on the 13th. So during that time, we also had the PIO do the press release, also public information, that there's fire restriction. And then that fire restriction talks about no open fires. And at community meetings, one of the things that we covered is where the season where we have the ceremony. And if you're going to have that, make sure that you get a permit and making sure that you notify proper officials that you're going to have a ceremony in that area. That way, you know, close watch can be done in that area. So, but I think could be the question that came up. You know, how does this work? Fire restrictions. So, President put an order on that fire restriction the day before the fire.
Thank you, Chief. So we're not going to be able to take any more questions just yet, but I do want to remind all of the enforcement officers, make sure that you work with Will. Will, can you raise your hand again? So can I make sure that you all work with him? He's back there. So before you take off to the field, make sure that you know what we're doing. And then also everybody that needs to sign up with us in the back and connect with us. So Department of Ag and Forestry, those of you guys that have resources, public health, all that information, I want to make sure you sign up with us in the back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. As I mentioned yesterday, specific questions towards operations, if there are no others, we need to let our staff get back into the field. We will stay here. We'll answer any questions or take any comments or discuss any issues with you as long as you would like. So it's not that we're cutting off the meeting. We just got to get our folks back into the field once all the questions on operations have been asked. So with that, we'll end it here. Thank you very much. But again, we'll stay here. Come take a look at the map, and we'll be here to answer any questions that you may have. So, same time again tomorrow, same location.